Well, hello again. Welcome back. We're going to do another video. This is going to be on some 1/64 scale cars I've got. And I want to focus on what's known as the Box Chevy, as it is affectionately known in circles. Why is it called that? Well, because of its very angular appearance. This is called the sheer look that GM adopted initially with the 1976 Seville that was introduced in the spring of 75. And later on, the rest of the GM lineup adopted this look, and it's quite attractive. Now, these are a very popular and beloved car. Uh, if you're a Gen Xer or a boomer, or geez, maybe even a millennial for all I know, you have either first-hand knowledge of this car or some kind of secondary knowledge of this car because somebody you knew owned one, or you rode in one as a taxi, or oh God, maybe even as a cop car. Hopefully that didn't happen to you. But the Box Chevy, as it was known, it was produced between 1977 and 1990 on both the Caprice and also the Impala line. Now, the Impala only lasted until 1985, and then it was discontinued after that. And then the Caprice line was expanded. So let's get into the nice diecast here. So the one that's on the turntable is probably the nicest one I have because it's a green light car. That's the brand name. And this is a 1986 Caprice Classic Brougham. Very nice burgundy with the dark burgundy top, matching interior. And I think they did a really nice job depicting some wire spoke wheels, if you can see that there. They got the steel beam headlights as they had in 86. Nice job with the tail lamps too. And 86 was the first year of kind of a refresh on both the front and the rear end. Rest of the car remained virtually unchanged. Just some updates here and there. Well, as I said, yeah, very popular, very beloved car. At one time, they were so plentiful. I mean, there were at one point, there was like 10 of them on your block. And now they're almost unheard of. It's unbelievable how something that's sold in the millions is almost virtually non-existent. It's just unbelievable. So this is probably one of the newer ones I've got. So the other one I have, that's more of a newer one. This one's actually a law enforcement vehicle, Iowa State Patrol. This is a 1990 version, which would have been the final year of the box body style. After that, they went to the whale style, which I'm sorry, I don't think that's as attractive. I like the box one, and I know a lot of you do too. I know the law enforcement guys also love these Caprices. They had the very strong 350 engine. They were carbureted for a long time, and then they went to fuel injection, which improved the response. And they were a very solid, very durable car, and also very well built. You know, in an era when GM was putting out some stuff that, let's just say, it was less than stellar, this car stood out as being among one of the higher quality ones. All right, so that's that law enforcement vehicle. And I have a second one here. Now, this one is actually an Impala. It's the only Impala I have that's a box Chevy. This is made by a company called Majorette, which is from France. And we used to import a lot of stuff from them. And when we kind of ceased doing it, and then we started importing things from Majorette again. And I'm kind of glad we did because they made some very nice, high-quality products. And they also did some unusual subject matter. I've got a Oldsmobile Omega I'll show you in another video that'll probably make you raise an eyebrow. But this is a nice one because it's got the little opening doors on there. I love that blue interior. So the Impala, this style came out in 1980, and between 80 and 85, they looked exactly the same. They didn't really make any changes. At this point, the Impala had kind of become the fleet favorite. So most of them were either police cars or taxis. There are very few civilian buyers for the Impala in these waning years of its existence. Just as solid as its Caprice sister, you know. Maybe it was just a little bit simpler because they didn't have as many, you know, bells and whistles on them. But yeah, Majorette, they make really nice cars, very high quality. They have a little suspension on their cars that's used. They make it. There's a spring inside. They're like almost looks like I don't know how to describe it. It's like about the same thickness as a paper clip, and they've got it sprung around the whole inside of the car. It's attached with these clips in there. And they have one of the better suspensions on their cars. That's actually really nice. And I have several majorettes in my collection. You'll get to see all of those. All right. Now, I have 3 of the next ones. They're all 1979 models. And this one is probably my favorite because I just love that olive green. This is made by a company called Play Art. Okay. And these were sold under what was known as the Sears Roadmates brand. Back in the days when Sears actually sold toys, and they usually have their big toy box around Christmas time. So Play Art was their brand. Very, very cheap. Very cheap. They use a plastic chassis. Things are kind of flimsy. But they did interesting subject matter. That's one of Play Art's biggest claims to fame, is that they actually made some nice, interesting subject matter. I have a couple Play Art cars that I'll show you. One of the rarest color schemes that this comes in is it's like a lavender color. I used to have that years ago, and I have yet to find it. I found one, and then somebody had kind of messed it up by putting these big ugly wheels on it, and it looked horrible. And it was all nicked up, and the chrome was faded. This one is fresh from the blister pack, as is the orange one and the Taxi I'm going to show you in a minute. Let me show you something really quick because I have an example. There's another Caprice in this lineup that's even more rare than the lavender one I mentioned. It was a chocolate brown, but you'll notice the wheels that this one has. These are the wheels they came out with in the 80s. Well, in the later 70s, they had, I'm going to show you this style wheel right here. It looks almost like a little flower petal, flower pot, whatever you want to call it. This is another car I'll show you. But I wanted to bring this in here and show you the example of the wheels. But the brown Caprice actually had these wheels, which were the earlier wheels. And I did see one for sale. A guy had it for sale. And let me put this back. He was asking way too much money for it, so I had to pass on that one. I got these for much more reasonable. So there's the olive green. And then you've got same one in this beautiful bright orange. And this orange is actually metallic. You probably can't see it in the camera. Maybe you can. If you look real close, you'll see that this metallic orange is quite nice. Same company, Play Art. And you say, well, how can you tell it's a 1979? Well, you've got little dividers between the taillights, and then right below the taillights are the backup lights. In 77 and 78, the backup lights flank the license plates around. That's how you can tell. And also the front end has a divider between the headlights, a bezel. So there's that one. And then we have a Taxi version with no less than a Fly TWA banner advertisement on the roof. How many of you Gen Xers flew that airline when it was in existence? And also, when was the last time you saw a traditional yellow cab? I mean, you don't see that no more. And I think I got this from the same gentleman I got those other 2 cars from too. He has all kinds of Play Arts. And I just always thought this was a neat example because, you know, with the markings and everything on there. Got the numbers on there. Good old Play Art. All right. Now, let's talk about this one. This little guy, I call this an orphan rescue. I was actually looking for one that was beat up and needed some help. And I was not disappointed when I found one. This one used to be orange, like this guy back here. But when it came to me, I saw the pictures of it online on eBay. This poor thing was broken, beat up, and just a mess. Okay, the wheels were bent and broken off out of the axle holds, and I'm going to show you the chassis. You can see the chassis is in just deplorable condition, but I was able to save it. And I replaced the wheels with, I had this old Road Champs Firebird that was just a piece of junk. So I raided the wheels off of it, and that's why it has those Road Champs style wide track wheels on it. Stripped all the paint off using some paint stripper, and then painted it this very attractive blue. Left the interior white because I thought it contrasted very nicely. with the nice blue. And it's a pretty decent effort. I actually pulled this out of the garage. I didn't have this in the house here. I have a secondary tier of cars in the garage collection, and I'll show those to you and explain why that is as well. So yeah, and then I painted the front and rear were just in deplorable condition, so I repainted them with some silver Testors paint, and I think it turned out pretty good. And I was very happy that I was able to rescue this poor little wayward soul, and now it gets to have a nice second chance at life. And I've done that to a couple diecast cars I've got, and it's something I learned how to do quite a long time ago. You know, I'm you know being that I have access to better tools, I'm able to drill the rivets out very nicely with a drill bit. Whereas before, I used to have to work them over with a screwdriver blade, which usually resulted in me bending the body and chassis a little bit, and then I had to spend a bunch of time straightening it all back up again. Don't have to do that anymore. So there we have it. Now I do have another box Chevy that I'll show you, but it's going to get its own video because it's a larger Corgi version with opening features and a bunch of other neat stuff. So that one's going to get its own video. And it's also, interestingly enough, a 1979 model. But I wanted to at least show you guys all of the 1/64 scale versions I had. And they're among one of my favorites. I have several favorites. I'm going to go over those with you guys. So hope you enjoy that little feature on the box Chevys. And, feel free to like and comment about it. And tell me your stories about these wonderful Chevys, okay? You guys take care. Have a good time.